the sun. Come have a ride around Venus. Come have a spin around Mars. No one to work while we're busy. No one to see while we school. Come take a trip in my airship and we'll visit the man in the moon.
Greetings, loyal airmen, and welcome to the Airship 27 podcast number 100. Yeehaw! I'm, as ever, Captain Ron Fortier, and joining me is my affable, amiable, good time chief engineer, Rob Davis. How you doing, Rob?
We're doing good. Hello, all you great airmen out there. We're trying a new process here with the recording of our podcast. Skype has gone bye-bye, so we've had to figure out a different way to do this. Our friends over at Silverline use a product called StreamYard, and it has a free aspect, which is what we're using. And we're giving that a shot this time. Hopefully it all works right. It does show we're recording, so
all fingers crossed. I can't help but get the irony of this, Rob. That in episode 99, we made a comment about we should do something special for 100. Yeah, and Skype takes off. Yeah.
Here it is. Yeah, bye.
Here it is. Yeah.
You're on your own now. Yeah. Okay. Jeez.
We'll
get her figured out.
Okay, so hey, we have an agenda set, and we'll get going with that.
Yep.
So hey, look, this month's joke, continuing with our practice of giving you loyal airmen 2 jokes in every show. We'll kick this month off with yours truly. Oh
boy,
here we go. All right.
Jeez.
Yeah. A 17-year-old young guy named Billy walks into a drugstore. He says, I've been invited to a Valentine's dinner at my new girlfriend's home where I'm going to meet her parents. I hope to get lucky afterwards. So what do you think? He says to the pharmacist. Pharmacist looks, oh, you're going to need some condoms, and takes out a pack of Trojans and gives it to him. The kid's a little nervous, pays it. Well, thanks a lot. Good luck. Off he goes, right? Sure enough, a couple nights later, Valentine's dinner. He's sitting there at the dinner table, and the girl's mother says, Billy, why don't you say grace? So he bows his head, and he starts saying grace, and he's praying and praying and praying and praying until eventually his girlfriend leans over and says, Billy, I had no idea you were so religious. He leans over and looks at her and goes, I had no idea your dad was the pharmacist.
Oh no.
Say all the prayers you want, Billy.
You're done, buddy. You are done. Oh, you're toast.
All right.
Pharmacist knows where all the poisons are. Oh, he's in trouble.
All right. Hey, look, since the last show, episode 99, we attended this year's Windy City Paper and Pulp Show, and as ever, it was a blast. We had a great time, hooked up with a lot of our old friends, missed a few who didn't make it this year, sad to say, but then again, we made a bunch of new friends as well. It's a
always
great show. Yeah, always do. So one of the highlights for us was the Friday night Pulp Factory Awards, which Rob and I have the pleasure of presenting every year. And as we did this year, we told you, loyal airmen, we would announce the winners here on this show for all of you who can't make the show or haven't seen any reports since then. So Rob, why don't we go through the list of the categories and, back and forth. I'll let you take the first one.
Okay. Well, the first one is you've just got the winners here. You didn't put up the nominees, but Bobby Nash's Lance Starr Sky Ranger Cold Snap won for best novel. And I sent off his award, and he got it a couple of days ago and was thrilled to death to get it. So yeah, it was a great book. It was definitely a great book.
It was. And he posted himself holding it and showing it off.
Excellent. I haven't seen the post yet on Facebook.
Yeah, it was up on Facebook, and he's got a special place for it in his office. And this is the second time Bobby's won Best Novel.
Yeah, it is. So he's not a good writer or anything. All right.
All right. So then we have short story category, and I'm really happy to announce that our dear friend Ian Watson won for Best Short Story for his Sherlock Holmes mystery, The Strand Magazine Murders, which appeared in our very own special Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective Volume 20. And that was such a great story, and it was so much fun how all of that whole package came together, and that Ian should get Best Short Story for it seems like apropos. So there you go.
And speaking of that, very next on the list is what won for Best Anthology, and it was Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective Volume 20.
Yeah.
So it garnered a few votes there for both Ian's story and for the anthology itself. And
Best Interior Illustrations went to my amigo Rob. There he goes. Look at that thing. All right. That's the award. Best Interior Illustrations, Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective Volume 20. So there you go.
Yay!
Absolutely fantastic. And again, Rob put in so much work putting that together. All right. That was, talk about labor intensive.
Yeah.
If you haven't picked up a copy, it's available on Amazon. Check it out. We've got it in hardback. We've got it in regular paperback
6x9, and we've also got it in 7x10. The hardback is also in the 7x10 size, which is approximately what a magazine size would be. Yeah. So it looks like a copy of the Strand magazine, which was the whole point. So it was a lot of fun, but it was also a lot of work. It also included a lot more illustrations than most of our books do, which is probably, I think, just for the sheer volume and number of illustrations I did, I got the award. just because I did so many of the darn things.
I've said this online. I've said it across social media. I have to believe that considering the last 20 volumes plus independent novels and whatever, you've probably done more Sherlock Holmes illustrations. I'm not talking about comic books or whatever, but illustrations than any other single artist today. I
have no idea. I know I've done each one of our anthologies had 12 illustrations in them, sometimes 13. Yeah. This one had, I don't know, I stopped counting. I was just, it got to a certain point. I went, I don't want to know how many, but a lot more than our usual anthology would have. So
we're gonna have to get the Guinness Book of Records people. Yeah.
All right. There's an idea for you.
All right. The last regular category was
Jeffrey Hayes won for Best Cover for CNI Classified Volume 2, which is from Blue Planet Press. Now, I didn't get a really good look at that cover, but what I saw of it was very impressive. The guy's got talent. It's a gorgeous cover.
Yeah, and this
fully deserved.
He won. I believe he won the previous year too. So I think
so. I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jeffrey is becoming a force in the new pulp community to check out. Believe me. In fact, as you and I are talking right now, our dear friend Jim Beard. All right, who does what is it? Filch Books,
I believe it is.
Filch Books, right? He's got a new Sergeant Janice novel.
I saw that. Yeah, beautiful cover.
What a cover! That is outstanding. Yeah. Watch that to get nominated next year. I have no doubt.
Well, it should. It's gorgeous. Put that on your list, Airman.
Yeah,
for nominations and maybe to be voting for as well. So,
Right.
yeah.
And then we ended up with a typical snafu, which was absolutely hilarious. This year, the Pulp Factory Awards Committee opted to give out their unique Grand Master Award. All right, which up until now had only been given out 2 previous times. I humbly received the first. A few years later, we gave it to Nancy Hansen.
Right.
And this year we decided we were going to award it to our dear friend Van Allen Plexico because of the volume of work he's done. He's won best novels several times in many different categories, and it's been a really striving force in the entire new pulp community from day one. So we thought it was fitting, the award, and we had it all set up. Van was at the show, and that day, that Friday, he had his table and he was there. Early afternoon, he's like rushing out the door because he's got to go watch, what was it, some kind of a basketball game or a football game or
something. I don't remember what it was. I believe it was basketball, but in any case,
right.
he left.
It was March Madness. The college teams were playing.
And to preface this a little bit, I got a hold of Van's wife before the show to, number one, make sure he was going to be there, but I didn't tell her why. So she was curious. So while Van was off having dinner after watching this game or whatever it was that he was watching, she texted him and asked him, "Are you at the awards?" And he goes, "No, I've only got a short time to eat dinner here, so because I've got something else. He had something else he wanted to do at the show, a panel or something he was going to go to, and so I only had the short period to eat. So I'm eating now." And he said she seemed a little miffed.
So while Van is gone, as he had gone out the door, I yelled at him, "Van, you're going to be back with the awards, right?" Nope, no Van. Here's Rob and I. We hand out these 5 awards, right? And now we've got this special, beautiful award. No Van. No, he's not in the room. The audience is looking at us like, we've just grown 2 heads. And finally, we took the award out and said, well, this is for Van Allen Plexico. Unfortunately, Van couldn't make it the award tonight. And we go home. We go back to the hotel and everything else. We don't see Van that night. The next morning, all of us, his cohorts and buddies and colleagues, get to the hall way before him and said, when Van comes in, nobody say a word. Nobody, all right? So sure enough, Van comes in. He goes over and starts setting up his table. And we're all waiting. And everybody, Jay Sweet and all the guys, all right, Brian Morris, right? And everybody's just watching and waiting, right? While Van sets up till finally he's ready for the con. I get up and I walk over with the award in the box and I says, "Hey, Van," I said, "I'm really sorry you missed the awards last night." And he goes, and he looks up at me. Well, I was, at dinner, blah, blah, blah. I said, "Yeah, well, you could have helped us out. We had one more." And I open it up and I give it to him, right? Well, the look on his face, and then everybody came over, everybody's cheering and applauding, right? And we're all laughing like, thanks a lot, really appreciate it, being stuck there last night. But anyways, Van was so appreciative, so humbled by it, and just overwhelmed. So I said to him, I said, well, I said, at one point, I said, I'd asked your fellow writer, Gene Moyers, if, he'd come up and accept the award in your behalf. But Gene told me that if he got his hands on the awards, he'd never give it back. All right. So Van chuckles, right? Van chuckles. Now, the rest of the morning goes on. Mid-morning, just before noon, Gene shows up. And without saying anything to the rest of us, literally runs over to Van and goes, "Where's my award?" I thought Van was going to die laughing. Everybody was having such a great time. So, yeah, hey, look, again, it's only been given out 3 times. Van deserved it wholeheartedly. He's a great guy, and it was really a pleasure to acknowledge all the hard work he's done over the last, 15, 16 years in the new pulp community. Keep plugging away, Van. Keep writing them great books, please. There you go.
All right. That's the recap. We recapped what Windy City. One addendum to that is that because of the hotel, or the organizer of Windy City said that they weren't going to do it the same weekend next year. They were moving it back one weekend. Well, guess what? Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City, the show that I do every year, they couldn't get their weekend either. So guess what they did? They moved it forward a week. So now they're on the same weekend.
Yeah. So what Rob is saying is basically Airship 27 will not be present at next year's Windy City Paper and Pulp Show.
I am upset, but there's nothing I can do.
Until we can be cloned. And
oh my God, I wouldn't inflict that on the world, either one of us.
honestly, hey, look, it's something that both of us are heartbroken about, but it is what it is. And just so you know, we were aware of this that Sunday or even Saturday afternoon, Sunday. And so before leaving the show, I had a long talk with Jay Sweet, Jonathan Sweet. Jonathan is the gentleman who helps us with the awards every year. He's a member of the awards committee. And part of his, once we've started the nominations and the voting process, Jay's the guy who actually gets the awards done up and brings them to the con. Yeah. So Jay and I talked, and Jay said he'd be more than willing to continue that entire process for next year's awards and actually present them that Friday night. So although Airship 27 will not be there, the Pulp Factory will be there, okay?
And we'll be there in spirit. I mean,
right, the organization, the awards, and the awards night will still happen. And way prior to that, I will probably get a hold of Brian K. Morris, who is the life of the party. Brian's an outgoing guy, tons of fun. And I'm most likely going to recruit him to work with Jay, and then together they can do the presentations and pull it off, and we can still just go without missing a year as far as that's concerned. And basically, like I said, it'll Rob will do his show. I'm not gonna grouse of missing 1 year. I've got a few health issues that have popped up recently, and it might do me some good to have a slow year, not so hectic, and recharge my batteries.
Oh, same here, because this year, because they were only 2 weeks apart, I had to scramble, and plus I had one of the regular day jobs that I have is driving for the local college. Well, the day before I had to leave to go to Windy City, I had already arranged to drive on that day. So I had like 1 day to prepare from one show to the next. I mean, got it done, and we got there, but it was when we get to the hotel, I was going because the weekend is not that hectic. We've gotten used to the pace of the show. Right. And it's not that bad, but prep is.
The convention circuit has gotten so overcrowded of late. I mean, and the truth of the matter, mostly comics, because Valerie and I were talking about that fact that between the two of us, you did Planet Comic-Con one weekend. The following weekend, we got together and did Chicago, and then we came home, and that following weekend, I did the Wicked West Comic Con in nearby Loveland. So right. I mean, the two of us were like hop, non-stop.
There was one weekend off between Planet Comic Con and Windy City, but yours was back to back. Yours was the very next weekend. Now you didn't have as far to drive as I did, but
I couldn't have made it otherwise. Believe me, that's the joy of local cons. And as we're talking right now, all right. We're 2 days away from this year's free comic book day across the country. And I will be at the local Griffins Games and Comics here in Fort Collins on Saturday, which is an event which I really, really enjoy. So
I'm going to be driving to Arkansas with the golf team. So on Saturday. So I almost had something set up. I was going to get with the local comic shop, and then just a few days ago, the golf team says, "Well, our tournament doesn't start till actually Monday, but we want to go early so we can have a couple of days of practice." No, okay, so we'll leave on Saturday. So, always something. Okay, but anyway, let's move on.
All right. So let's look at what we have put out since the last show, and let our loyal airmen know what's out there for them. I'll let you take the first one, and then I'll jump in with the next.
Releases since our last show. The Legend of Bass Reeves by Mel Odom. Mel wrote a story for every issue of our Bass Reeves Frontier Marshal series. So Ron and I figured it was time to collect them in one volume, and this is it. Adam Shaw did his usual great job in delivering the new cover. Now, the one difficulty with it is for you, Ron, is the fact that one of Mel's stories was illustrated by Howard Simpson. If you'll recall, volume 3 or 4, I forget which one, was illustrated by Howard Simpson. So four.
Yep.
So you'll have to divide up the royalties a little.
Yeah.
You have to do some math to get that one. But yeah, otherwise I've done all the rest of them. So
I'm in the process of doing that right now with the first.
Oh, I know.
Okay. All right. But no, yeah, we had to get that book out like that from Mal, especially. All right. Mal's become like, what Ian Watson does with our Sherlock Holmes books. All right. He's given us a Bass Reeves story for every volume. And he says he's got another one ready to go. And I said, whenever, send it in. All right. So then prior to that, we had done the Challenger Chronicles, Volume 2, which features a novella by Thomas Kent Miller, with shorts by Wayne Carey, Kevin Findlay, and artist Clayton Hinkle provides both the cover and the illustration as he did for Volume 1. And again, did a great job. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, yeah, and on that note, you don't have that on the listing here, but actually the novella that Thomas Kent Miller did for this, it bookends with another story in a Quartermain volume that we did. So Thomas asked if we could put those two together in a book. So what I did was I put it together as a Kindle version with a brand new cover that I did for it, and it did so well that Thomas came to me and he goes, "Can we actually do a paperback too?" So I've assembled a paperback. I'm just about ready to upload it, probably in a few days after I do my last run through for it. So it's Quartermain and Challenger's Detour, 13.5 billion year detour is the name of name of it, because it talks about the Star of Bethlehem and some other stuff. So Quartermain's story is the start of it, and then Challenger's story is the book into the other end of it. So it's really all one story because it's all about one thing, but it's two different novellas that we've kind of melded together. So that's also available.
Yeah, fortuitous with us was the fact that Clayton Hinkle had done the illustrations, so both
made it very easy. Yeah,
so it was very easy to just put that together as far as that as to one project. And I'm glad we're doing the hardcover, the paperback, not hardcover, the paperback version itself to get that out. I will announce that on social media when it's actually up at Amazon.
It's probably next week sometime when I can finally get past all this stuff.
Yeah,
but it should be out then.
Yeah, okay. And prior to that, we put out
Secret Agent X, features a novella by Fred Adams Jr. with shorts by George Takis and Curtis Fernland. And yours truly did all the interior illustrations and the cover, which I've done for 2 or 3 of those volumes now. Which he's of the characters, of the old pulp characters that we do, he's my favorite. Secret Agent X is. He's a lot of fun. Between him and Sherlock Holmes, I have a lot of fun illustrating. So that one's out now. And What do we got coming up next?
Yeah, what do we got coming up? And I'm going to let you do the epilogue to this of what we were just talking about today, what happened. All right. But what we've got coming up is we've got a brand new Sinbad, The New Adventures, which is pretty much almost ready to go. I think the book, the stories, interiors are all set. All we're waiting for now is a cover, which we are hopefully going to be getting within the next few days from artist Michael Youngblood. And once that cover comes in, this is ready to go. All right. We've got we got a third Persona thriller by the creator of this, this pulp hero.
The character,
who was an occult mystic, all right, created by writer Michael Housel. And that's in production. Youngblood already did the cover for it. But what we're excited about, we're having fun with this book, is that artist Mike Belcher's son, Aiden Belcher, is doing the interior illustrations for it. And both Rob and I met Aiden years ago when we did a show in Kentucky, Pikesville, Kentucky, the toy show, where we met both Mike and his son, Aiden. Aiden recently graduated from college. And I talk with Mike at least once a week. And at one point, Mike had said something about, I wish I could get Aiden involved with some kind of project to stay creative. I said, well, you know what? I said, I've seen some of his art. I said, we're all looking for interior illustration. Talked to Rob about it. And next thing you know, Aiden signs on. He's finished 3 illustrations, and I've seen the pencils for number 4. And both Rob and I are delighted for what this kid is producing.
His style is similar to his dad's, which, duh. I mean, apple don't fall far from a tree.
Right. So it's a lot of fun. And then on top of all this, while we were at Windy City, we got to talk to Michael Black, the writer. And between he, I, and Rob made the decision that we're going to go ahead. Rob's going ahead and doing the illustrations. That's his next project for Dark Atlas Volume 2. This has been in the works for a while now. Sadly, the artist that we had assigned to the project, we'd already done Volume 1, honestly wanted to do Volume 2, but has been caught up with all kinds of other things besides doing illustrations, and is still working on another project of ours. So it just seemed ridiculous that, he was just going to keep putting both Michael and Ray Lovato, the co-author and creator of Dark Atlas, off longer and longer. Rob said, nah, they've waited long enough.
That'll help us catch up, I think. He can, and then the artist can come in and do the third, or do we have another anthology of the Dark Atlas, or are we going to go to the new stories for the third?
We're going to wrap up all their short stories that they've done.
Okay,
as far as I believe, to the point where, and that was the burr under the saddle. Ray and Mike want to do a brand new Dark Atlas novel. But, what was the point if we still hadn't gotten out the reprinting of all the early short stories? So Volume 2 is going to collect the remaining short stories they did in previous other publications. So we'll have Volumes 1 and 2 out there, and we give the green light to Mike and Ray and say, hey, go write that Dark Atlas novel. Doc's got a following, and we're kind of glad to see that finally get back on track again.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. So with doing this, Rob pushed back the Edgar Rice Burroughs novel, but that will be Rob's next book after Dark Atlas, because I personally am chomping to get this Edgar Rice Burroughs book Beyond 30 out there, because we've got a humdinger of a sequel waiting for it. Believe me. All right.
I haven't even read it yet. So
I know. I get
and
that.
May is another crazy month for me. I'm between all the stuff we're doing and all the driving I'm doing. The golf team's going to all kinds of stuff the next 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. So it's going to be crazy this month. So it'll get done when it gets done. But
last year, you and I raised the white flag and basically said, Rob and Ron got to slow down. We got to start winding things down at Airship 27. Right? Yeah. Okay. And it seems like we're more swamped and chaotic than we ever were before. I don't know if we jinxed ourselves or whatever, but just to show you how bad that can happen. Understand, we're 2 guys, all right, who don't live next to each other, okay? So here's the kicker. stuff comes in, we put it together, we try to get it out, this and that. Rob does his driving to do. I've got other things happening here in town, and all kinds of different projects, blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting there this afternoon, and I went, wasn't there a Mask Writer project we were working on?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were. In fact, it was all done. I sent Rob an email. What happened to Mask Writer? You can finish that story, please.
Well, and you one of the questions you asked was, is it just not done, or did it just fall through the cracks? And my reply back was, cracks. Because it's completely done. It was ready to go. I mean, it had been proofed, everything. All the art's in, and the thing we were waiting on was the cover, I think, at one point, and it finally came in. And then I put the cover together, and then something else got in the way, and something else got in the way, and something else got in the way, and I forgot all about it. I mean, I think it was just before Windy City.
Probably, most likely, yes.
And then stuff went absolutely crazy after that. So I'm thinking that's what happened. It was just before Windy City.
Rob just got left hands on this afternoon.
Yeah, like an hour and a half ago.
Fingers crossed. By the time you're watching this video, hopefully it'll either be out or be out within 24 hours. And
it should be out. Should be out tomorrow. We're recording this on Thursday, the 1st of May. It's May Day. Mayday. So I got it done today, so it'll probably be up and available on May 2nd, which is Friday.
Yeah.
And then I'm hoping I'll have enough time tomorrow before I start packing to get the Kindle version ready and up. But it's that sometimes can be very tedious and time consuming. It's strange that the ebook takes more work than assembling a regular book because of the nature of ebooks. They're not set. There's no program that directly sets things up to create an ebook. I have to go through some steps in order to get it to the point where it can be downloaded as an ebook. It's a pain in the butt, but it's what we sell more of them than we sell anything else. We sell more copies of the ebooks than we do of the paperbacks. So we have to have them up there. And if you want to do an audio book at Amazon, you have to have an ebook as well. So it's just that's just the way. That's just the nature of the beast. So it's got to be done. Hopefully, I can get it done before I drive off to Arkansas. But I maybe actually, if I don't get it done, I can probably get it done in the hotel room, because I take along my computer and my laptop, and I can work on it there. But there's one that fell through the cracks, so that should be on this list of out there as well, or should be very soon.
Please make a mental note that after we're done with the recording tonight and whatever, before you close up your office, send me a copy of that finished cover with the logo.
I was getting ready to do that when I went, well, I've got to come down. I've got to get this recording stuff set up. So I was just about ready to cut a copy of that new cover for you to send off, but I'll send it off to you after we get off. After we're off the air.
I use it for press releases and all that good stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. And
okay,
it's a little different. All you've got is the one without the logo on it, and that's no good for promo.
Shan Hall did that cover as well as the interior illustrations, and I want to tip my hat to him. He did a really great job. And for all you writers who are part of that, well, I'm sorry it took us back a little bit, but it's coming. So here we go. And then I'm trying to think of what else we've got in the works coming up. I've been reading some stuff. I've been reading and editing a lot of stuff that's coming our way. We have got, I finished reading a story this week, which I absolutely love, which I thought was absolutely great, in our Mystery Men and Women series, which is one of our more popular series that we've already said we don't want to give up. It's just too much fun. And we've got all these writers creating new pulp heroes for it and whatever. So I think we've got like the next 2 or 3 volumes already full, okay? Now, one of the characters that appeared and debuted was this Asian girl, all right, a Japanese, all right, Kiri, created by writer Curtis Merlin, who is basically working for a female New York publisher in the late 1930s, 1938, 39 in New York, all right? And Curtis has done like already 3 Kiri adventures, and we've got another one coming, right? So we had been talking, he and I, about, well, you know, we're going to do that same thing, the collection thing. We'll eventually collect the ones that have been published, and if you've got something different, send me something different. We'll do a collection, and, you know, the new thing will be the bonus story that nobody's seen. Stay with me. Okay. Well, he sent me the bonus story a couple of weeks ago. This week, the last few days, I have been reading it. All right. And I'm not going to give away the plot because it's just too sweet. But I'm trying to remember if I get it straight. Appearing in this one story, aside from Kiri and her cast, okay, is the Crimson Mask, Secret Agent X, the Green Ghost, you and me, and Radio Rita.
Oh, is there room for the bad guys in there? Or are we the bad guys?
The thing, the story is called Panic in the Streets. It is absolutely so much fun. But I'm reading it, right? I'm reading it, and I went, wait a minute, that's the Crimson Mask. I'm reading a little further. Betty Dale? She hangs up. Oh my Lord, that's Secret Agent X. And next thing you know, right, we're in some field outside. We're in some field on Long Island, all right? And there's the crew of Airship 27, right? There's Robin Ron, Chef Pierre, right? And
oh my!
Trust me. This collection is going to be worth having just for that one bonus story. Let me tell you, okay, it's a ride. It's a lot of fun. So I just love it when our writers do stuff like that. Like we did The Devil You Know last year, right? And I am so hoping that Glenn Held has a sequel to that, because that was the one that had all the,
that was a lot of fun too. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So there you go. All right.
Okay.
So those are all the things that we've got coming. And I did want to take a little bit of time to talk about what's been going on with yours truly, and not to get overly serious or maudlin about it as such, but last week sometimes and several weeks ago, while showering one night, I felt a lump under my breast. And as a lot of you loyal airmen know, I have been through, a few bouts with cancer. 20 years ago, the lung cancer, and then 4 or 5 years ago, prostate cancer. So when you feel a lump under your breast, you don't do anything but grab the phone and call the doc, and that's what we did. Went to see our primary care doctor, and he basically said, "Yep, okay, we're going to set you up." Went into the clinic. Had an ultrasound, and then from the ultrasound, they considered the lump. They found a smaller lump. So basically said, no, you're going to have a biopsy. Sure enough, that next day I went back in. I mean, click, everything 1, 2, 3, getting it done. And sure enough, the biopsy found that the bigger sized lump had carcinoma cells in it, cancer. So I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And
yes, guys do get breast cancer.
That's why I wanted to do this. All right. This is what I wanted to say. All right.
They do get breast cancer.
Yeah. And while I was going through it, I spoke to, the doctors, the doctor who did my biopsy, the nurses that worked with them. And you asked a question, you get many men? And the nurse looked at me and says, Ron, more than you would imagine. And she goes, it's really sad that it's not publicly made, it's not made aware that much to the public, all right, that men do get breast cancer, all right? and it's nothing to just, let go. It's something to take seriously.
It's very serious, very serious. We had a family friend who was a band director for my kids in middle school, and he discovered he had breast cancer, and they treated it, but it finally took him. And I think part of that was the fact that, guys don't think about breast cancer.
Yeah.
Guys don't, but we can get it. So check for lumps, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
When you're showering,
right.
check around for lumps.
So basically, we have met with our cancer team, various doctors that are now taking care of my case. And this afternoon, Valerie and I met with the surgeon, and their basic suggestion was that I have a complete mastectomy, and that is going to happen a week from tomorrow on May the 9th. I will go in and understand this has been diagnosed as stage 1. I've been told by several doctors now who are experts in this that it is completely treatable. So basically, we have the mastectomy on May 9th, a week from now. That's day surgery, people. All right. I mean, so much has happened over the years in the treatments of cancers. Rob and I both can attest to. All right. And in speaking with the surgeon today, I was made aware of the fact that, they do what they have to do. It's like minimal invasive, basically cut out the breast up to the wall of my chest, and then they sew it up, and that's it. Okay. They take what they took, biopsy, to have it checked out to see, specifically, the cells, the genetics, all this good stuff. On the off chance that I might need a little bit of chemo afterwards, just to be sure, we're keeping our fingers crossed that's not going to be the case. It's going to be a clean surgery.
If you caught it really early, it hasn't had a chance to spread. That's
right.
the thing.
So,
that's why you need to check. And that's why you need to go to your doctor and have the PSA test for prostate cancer.
Always.
It saved both of our lives. So
amen. It did. So that's it. So that's where we're at. The surgery schedule. Look, since making this public last week on my weekly blog, I cannot thank all of you enough for the outpouring of well wishes and prayers and love and concern. I am humbled by it. I am truly, truly humbled by it. I'm blessed. I'm blessed with so many good friends in the pulp community, the comics community. Everybody's out there, pulling for us. And trust me, okay, it means everything. All right, it means a lot to know that you're not doing this by yourselves. And that's why I wanted to get this message out, because if who knows, maybe one of you out there, one of our buddies and pals, may someday be taking a shower like Ron did and go, I wonder if this is what Ron was talking about. Get it checked out.
Get it checked out. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's it.
Right.
And now we put it off as much as we could, going from cancer to Rob's bad joke.
And hopefully this is a little less serious. It's a little less serious, but it's my turn. All right. Here we go. All right. 3 writers, Ben and Carl, who were attending a writing convention, booked a 3-bedroom suite on the 75th floor of a hotel. When they arrived back at the hotel from the convention, the receptionist told them, "I'm terribly sorry, but all the elevators are broken. In the meantime, you'll just have to take the stairs." Now, Al was a writer of funny stories. Ben was a writer of scary stories, and Carl was a writer of sad stories. The 3 of them agreed that to make it less boring, Al would tell the other 2 his funniest stories while they climbed from floors 1 to 25. Ben would tell his scariest stories from floors 26 to 50, and Carl would tell his saddest stories from floor 51 to 75. They started to climb the stairs, and Al started to tell funny stories. By the time they reached the 25th floor, Ben and Carl were laughing hysterically. Then Ben started to tell scary stories. By the time they reached the 50th floor, Al and Carl were hugging each other in fear. Then Carl started to tell sad stories. I'll tell you my saddest story of all first, he said. There once was a man named Carl who left the hotel room key in the car. Oh. That's pretty bad. To discover that when you're on the 50th floor, too.
oh, great one. I love it. That was awesome. That was wicked fun. All right. Oh, all right. Well, here you go, Loyal Airman. That was episode number 100. Holy cannoli. Can't believe that. 100. We've done 100 of these things. Crazy. All right.
Yeah, it's some days it feels like 100, some days it feels like 200. But other times it feels like it's just flown by. You know, we just started doing these yesterday. But our original intention was to do them a lot more often than we have. So we'd probably be well over 100 by now. But it just, life is like that. It gets in the way of stuff you'd like to do, and that's what's happened here. We do them when we can. Plus, a lot of times what puts us off is we don't have very many books to talk about. So we want to have something to talk about with you folks. So we wait till 2 or 3 books are out, and then we'll come on. And so we can't say when we'll be back. We will be back, but we'll have to throw out a few more books. Now, the way they're coming at us right now, it may be pretty quick. It may be maybe the end of May or early June, and we'll be back again. We'll be back again. So
is there anything else you want to discuss before we?
Oh well, I think we covered all the territory I wanted to cover. My biggest one was the snafu on the book that we messed up. And what was it? What else did we cover? The fact we can't go back to Windy City. Those are the two things I wanted to make sure we talked about and got people to understand why that's happening. It was circumstances rather than any choice that we made. The first time we had a conflict with this was the very first time we went to Windy City. That weekend was also Planet Comic-Con, so I had to forego going to Planet Comic-Con that year, and I promised myself if it happened again that I would go to Planet Comic-Con instead. So, for many, many years, it went by and they never conflicted. Well, my luck finally ran out, and we can't go that.
Right.
But it is what it is.
I totally get that. I mean, that's your home con.
That's my home con. Yeah, it'd be like you not going to.
For me, it's in November. It's the Rocky Mountain Con down in Denver, which my dear friend Tim Moret puts on. And Tim has had a table now. Now he gives me 2 tables every year. Everything else, and rolls out the red carpet. So it's not a show that I ever.
Yeah, you couldn't not go to that one. Kind of like I can't not go to Planet Comic-Con. But anyway,
As long as we're vertical, right?
Yeah, I mean, and hopefully we'll be able to do the next year. And I just have to keep in mind that right around that time we need to get a hold of the organizers and buy our tables, because they go fast if you're not right on top of it. So next year. So I'm going to have to stay on top of that. And
you know what? The new pulp community is getting bigger. It is getting bigger. I hosted a panel Sunday morning, all right, with 7 of some of the best writers and new publishers. And our topic was, the state of new pulp today. And with Bob Mendenhall coming into the arena with his Blue Planet Press, all right. And we've already got Charles Milhouse and Van Plexico, and there are so many people
Brian Miller
starting up their own outfits. Okay, it's just getting bigger and better. So hey, again, we promote it. We want you to head up There's going to be Pulp Fest coming up in August. Happens in Pittsburgh. If you're in the area, check it out online. But if you've never, again, we repeated, if you've never been to a pulp convention, go. They're tons of fun, believe me.
If you're into this kind of reading and storytelling at all, they're worth going to. They usually have comics, they have pulps, they have, there's all kinds of stuff that you'll want to see, that you'll be interested in.
Yeah.
Well worth going at Pulp Fest and Windy City, and there's a couple others too that we haven't been to, so we can't vouch for directly. But they can't be much different from Pulp Fest and Windy City.
Right.
Well worth going to see, absolutely. So,
all right, okay. Why don't you sign us off, amigo? And
right.
everybody, take care. Enjoy, springtime. Hopefully,
Day's coming up. Enjoy Memorial Day. That's coming up at the end of May. So enjoy that. That's my family and I always take a trip for Memorial Day. So honor our soldiers. All right. Speaking of, this is Chief Engineer Rob Davis signing off.
And as ever, Captain Ron has the pleasure of saying, down ship.